He's like, listen, one for you, because this is important, one for you, where it ain't even necessarily about everything is going good. It's just you're in sync with who you are, what you want, what you don't want. Things working out in your favor. You still realize that you growing and working on yourself at the same time. And then in the moment while I'm driving, this is what I hear. No more hiding. As I'm driving, in my spirit, I hear it's no more hiding. Because, this is why I say that. This is why it made so much sense when I hear the no more hiding. Because too many of us get in a position where some of us get in a position where we feel like you fake it till you make it. You alter so many things to make it look like something that is not until you get it to where it's what you want it to be, and then you ready to expose your truth. It's too many people who knowing they not where they want to be, but they portraying it that way. They portraying it that way because they don't want people to know what they really got going on, what they really carrying, what they really struggling with, what they really don't have. What your relationship really ain't what you portraying it to be. Your mental ain't really what you portraying it to be. You doing all of these things, but this is the trick. The trick of the enemy in that situation is when you're doing it, we are all in this cycle of doing it, and what we have not, we're doing all of ourselves an injustice. Everybody doing an injustice to each other when we're doing that. You know why? Because ain't none of us really seeing the truth. Ain't none of us really seeing how much pain, how much hurt. We're all just continuing on in this cycle. And so as I'm riding down the street, I hear that no more hiding. No more hiding, no more hiding. This is what I kept feeling. No more hiding, no more hiding, no more. And as I'm sitting and I'm pondering on this, and I say to myself, life is good. What reason is it to hide? And then you have to get deeper into it. You're saying, who am I hiding from? What's the lie for? You give too much power to people. You give too much power to people thinking, oh, if they know the truth, this is what they gonna think of me. This is what they gonna say about me. What power? They don't have the power to do what to you though? It's not gonna break you or make you. What you ain't realizing that you're breaking. You're saying, if I say this out loud or they see this, it's gonna make or break me or what they say. No. What's making or breaking you is what you're saying to yourself. You lying to yourself. You're the one who's doing this. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, and the person just said it, life and death is in the power of the tongue. If we really believe that, then why you hiding then? If you believe life and death is in the power of the tongue, why are you hiding? Why tell a lie about what you're really dealing with? I ain't saying just get on here. Now, it would be amazing. Commercial break me, please. It would be an amazing thing if everybody jumped on social media tomorrow and exposed their truth, their own truth, what their relationships really look like, what their marriages really look like, what their mental health really look like, what their healing process really look like. All these people who are on here talking about all of these new diets they done got on, and all these people claim that they eating right and doing all of the right intake and all this. It would be amazing for so many people to come out and really say what they are really struggling with, what's really going on. And it would be an amazing, but it'll never happen. You know why? Because just like I heard them, it's too many people hiding. And so I had to go back in my mind. And I said, what was it that gave me the platform that I have? Anybody who's been following me, my platform has been built on transparency. My platform has been built on me being open. Me being honest, me being vulnerable. So, and at some point, let me tell you something about the trick of the enemy. At some point, even when you're that open, you have to realize that we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. I don't care how in tune. What's up, Skip? I don't care how in tune you are. Listen, I don't care how in tune you are. At some point, the enemy is going to try to throw some kind of curveball at you. And that curveball is to get you where you don't see that he's trying to put you back in a certain place, but just in a different way. He trying to get you back in a certain place, but in a different way. He's using a different strategy. Because let me tell you something. When you coming out of whatever it was that you was in, what I could not see is the new. You can't see the new. You can't, in the elevation, only thing you see is the rise. You don't get to see what that's going to look like. I've never experienced half of the stuff that I am experiencing now. The rooms that I be in now and the conversations that I'm having now is completely different. I'm talking about it's completely different. And so as I'm riding, I'm hearing, no more hiding, no more hiding. And I realized, you know what? You're going to have to continue to be who you was that got you where you are. Don't change up who you was and become something different because it's unfamiliar to you. So you're wondering, you're talking yourself into different strategies because you're uncomfortable, because you're trying to figure it out. If I got you here by you being that, I need you to continue to be that. Don't you switch up your body language. Don't you switch up your conversation. Don't you switch up nothing. Continue to be who you are. We ain't doing no hiding. We're not doing no hiding. If they don't like you done 10 years in prison and they spook them are not the people that you're supposed to be around. If it makes them feel some type of way when you speak up and you talk about being molested, and half of them in the room probably have been molested and they just not comfortable with speaking on that in their life, then you shake the dust off your feet and you keep it moving. Don't you withhold that because you're in a different realm and you're wondering if that's gonna make the room uncomfortable. Because we're not doing no hiding. Don't you feel like, oh, you ain't gonna speak on the testimony and talk about, oh, you beat your brother up in the cell, or you was in the cell with your daddy, because it's gonna make some faces in this room say, hold on, we didn't know that about you. Don't listen. If that's how they feel, then I didn't send you there for that. But don't get in your mind and don't get in your head and say to yourself, because you're in a different room, in a different atmosphere, you need to dumb down who I created you to be. You're only here on the basis of the transparency. You're only here on the basis of the vulnerability. Listen to me. It's too many people who done been set free out of relationships. You know why? Because you finally got to a fed up place of where you was tired of lying. You was tired of hiding. You was holding on to whatever you was holding on to. You've been lying to family members. You've been lying to friends. And the minute you came into the realization and looked into the mirror and you said, this relationship is breaking me down. This relationship is doing this. This relationship is holding me back. This relationship is delaying me from my blessing. It was the transparency and the vulnerability that you had with yourself that set you free from it. So at that point, you don't get set free. You don't get set free from something and then go back into hiding. You don't allow yourself to have a real epiphany moment with yourself, and then you go to the next person and you continue to be something that you was before. No, if I don't set you free from it, be that free person. If that person don't like what it was that you speak, they're not for you. Do you know how many people done got fed up? You done got fed up with your job. You done got fed up with a lot of things that you just didn't. And then you come into a realization and you say, you know what? I'm done hiding. Listen, no. I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And you step away from it. And see, sometimes what happened is you get away from it, right? You get away from it. Don't worry about it. I got it recorded. I'm going to put it on my YouTube tomorrow. You get away from it, right? And then before you know it, you get up, right? Let's use the woman who touched the hem of the garment, right? The woman with the issue of blood, right? The woman with the issue of blood, she knew if I can get to him, I'm going to be healed. I'm going to be good, right? It's so many of us who know if I can get to that place, I'm going to be good. You get to that place and then you return, like it say in Proverbs, you return back to your vomit. What sense does that make? What sense does it make for me to reflect and for me to stop reflecting and say, how did this start? And I say 3.5 years ago, because he's not going to allow you to forget. He's not going to allow you to forget. If I say 3.5 years ago, I did the story time and boom, and it went boom. And then the books happened, and then this happened. Then I moved to Dallas, and then this happened, and I kept doing this. He done gave you the entire recipe for your success. Listen, it's too many of us. He done gave you the entire recipe for your success. And what you did was you got the recipe, got to where you were, and decided you wanted to put something else in it different to add some flavor. You didn't have to do it. Only thing you had to do was just keep doing what you were doing. Don't switch it for nobody. I don't care with, oh, this person wearing a suit. I ain't going to say this. I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to act this type of way. They might not like it. They talk proper, so I'm going to talk proper. Talk proper for what? I didn't tell you to talk proper to get here. Because if that ain't who I need you to speak to, then that ain't who you're supposed to be attached to. What I'm doing that for? What I'm doing that for? You know how many women, listen, watch this right here. You know how many women the Most High done spoke to said, you quit hiding. And then you have this epiphany, encouraging moment to be something better, to be you, right? You come out of it. You break free from it. You have a good time. You have you some freedom. You enjoy your single life. And then the enemy creep in. The enemy creep in. When he talk about the what is it? He said he gave what is it? When he talked about the thorns, I can't remember. It'll come back to me in a minute. But you come out of it, you start to enjoy your single life, and then the enemy creep in and start making you feel lonely. And then get what you do. You pick a similar man. It might take longer. You might try to avoid it a little bit. You had some conversations with your girlfriend, and then you end up right back in the same type of situation you was in before. Now, we're not doing that. The thorns, yeah. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm done hiding, man. And this is another thing about the hiding right here. When you hiding, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna figure it wrong. When you hiding, it's got something to do with fear, and it's a part of you still rejecting and not embracing who you really are. Some people hiding for many different reasons, but a lot of people hiding because they still self-sabotaging their own success. They still in denial about the power that they really have. Some people are afraid of the power that they possess because they haven't learned how to position their power for it to accommodate the purpose. And when you don't know how to position your power to accommodate your purpose, you'll get it misconstrued and you'll be confused about it. And then you can't find the leverage and the balance and how to use it. And next thing you know, you attached to something that you ain't got no business being attached to. You know what I'm saying? And so it's people who hiding helps you. Hiding, to some people, you think hiding is protecting you. Hiding is keeping you away from your higher self. Hiding is keeping you dumbed down. Hiding. Do you know how many people who have not embraced I'm that when I post? People can see it on you. You're posting and you're still shy. You've been doing it for years. You're still shy. You still haven't embraced. You know why? Because you look at other people's posts and you're still saying that look better than mine. The view is better than mine. The angle is better than mine. The lighting is better than mine. The clothes, the way they dress, the way they doing it, is how are they doing it like it. So it's keeping you from fully embracing yourself and what it is that you're capable of, and what it's killing you. So when you turn on that camera, it's got you in hiding because it's got you in hiding because you worried about yours looking like somebody else's. And get what he said. I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to wear what they was wearing. I didn't tell you to try to walk like they was walking. I didn't tell you to try to sound like how they was sounding. I asked you to be you. And you're hiding by what are you doing? Yeah, man, I said, man, I'm done hiding, man. I'm done hiding, man. I ain't got no lie to tell nobody. Listen, I ain't got no lie to tell nobody. And if you don't like who I am or what I stand for, then we're not for each other. If you have some kind of hidden agenda, the only thing I could do is pray that it get revealed and it expose itself. Because I don't even want you hiding to me. Because I'm gonna tell you something. People who hiding, that's connected. If you free and you're connected to people who hiding, they are a hindrance and a danger to you. And you'll get what I'm saying one day. If you're free and you're connected to an imposter who's still in hiding, they are a danger to you. Because sooner or later, the hiding that they doing, they're gonna try to misery love come. They're gonna try to put that on you. They're gonna try to transfer that energy to you. And it's not gonna sound like it. It's not gonna laugh. The laugh ain't gonna sound like it's a jealousy or envious laugh. You know what I'm saying? The embracement not gonna feel like a hiding embracement because they know what's going on within, and they not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that. They're gonna try to kill it. You can't hang with people who hide neither. And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't try to bring them out. It's not your job. It's not your job to try to bring out people who are in hiding. You can encourage. That's it. One plant, one water, the most I get an increase. It is not your job to bring somebody out of what they going through internally. It is not yours. I promise you it's not. Don't put something on you that's not your responsibility. It's just not you. It's not your job. And it's okay. It's okay. Don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up. It is not your job to bring them folks out of whatever they're going through. It's not. He didn't give you that assignment. I promise you he didn't. He wouldn't say it, one plant, one water, and he get an increase. Look, do your little part, say what you got to say, and understand it is not your job to continue to try to bring them folks out. It's not. It's not. I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say it like this, that I'm going to roll. Do your part. Understand it's not your job. That's it. Do your job. Understand. Do your part. Understand it's not your job, though. That's it. And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. If you took something from me, you cash out me $1. I seen people they were waiting on me to say it. Okay, so boom, one. My testimony? Man, listen. I ain't did it in so long. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna try to make it quick. Man, listen. When you talking about going through hell and back, when you talking about love, fam, when you talking about going through hell and back, I know what they look like. And man, I see a lot of people who, I don't know, we got a lot of young kids who want they want that story. They want the I struggled, didn't have this, didn't have that, didn't have a father in my life. They want that. My mama struggled with, our lights was off, we was eating noodles. It's a lot of people who They want to be able to say that for some reason. It's crazy. Like, it's really sickening. Especially when you hear it and you experienced it and you lived it. You feel what I'm saying? Because, listen, my mama dated one of the biggest dope boys in the city. We didn't even know what was going on. Only thing we knew is that we had everything. You hear me? Until I came home from school one day and the door was kicked off the hinge. When I walked in the house, I'm talking about, when I tell you everything was tore up, I didn't know what was going on. Them folks had put metal inside the microwave, blew the microwave up. Like I could smell it right now because I still know what that was. And when you walking in there, it was like, man, it was scary. It was traumatizing. And you ain't even realizing what's going on. My mom I don't even know if she realized you're putting your children in this type of predicament in the name of what? Being able to say that you got somebody that's helping and providing for us. Listen to me, man. I'm gonna tell y'all something. So after my mom dating the biggest dope boy in the city, in this same house that got broke in twice while I was scared to come in at, and this is the same house I got molested in by a family member. I'm 8, 9, maybe 10 years old at the time. And all I know is she was way older than me. This is somebody that was related to me. Me and my brother sitting here, we playing the game. And as we playing the game, my brother said he wants something to eat. She tell him he old enough to go in there and fix his own stuff. This was a plot on me. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, listen to how crafty. What's up, Tad? Listen to how crafty this enemy is. This enemy was crafty enough to know it's 2 children sitting here playing this game who's underage, who's being watched by a family member, and he strategically sent a family member that my mama gave the approval of to babysit us. That guess what? At the time, my mama wasn't even aware of that she was being molested by her father when she was a child. But the enemy is so crafty because on the surface you can't even see that she's dealing with that internally. She looked responsible. She looked like she gonna have her little cousin in her best mind and in her best interest. And the whole time she in here trying to do what? She trying to transfer them same spirits that was transferred to her and under her roof, under ours. And get what? She was successful. So she go in the room. I don't want to go into that. If you ain't read the book, if you see that tag that's on her, it's in the books. Because we on TikTok, so I ain't gonna go into detail. But the tag on there, if you go on there and get the book, I'm gonna send you both of them 2 for 1. It's the 25. You're gonna get both books. It's right there on the page. That's what the book is. So look, check this out. So after that happened, watch this right here. Do you know how many people, my mama too, judged me, talked about me, said I was a whore, said I was fast, said I was this, said I was that. I slept with almost 100 women by the time I was 18 years old. I ain't ashamed to say that, you hear me? Because I ain't ashamed of the gospel of the Most High. It's a lot of people right now, because I'm going to speak to somebody who finally fixed their face to look at me like I was crazy. It's a lot of people who won't speak on their wounds or what they went through or their mishaps and the things that they done experienced in life because they just not free. Listen to me. You ain't got no power to put me in. You ain't got no power to put me in heaven or hell. But let me tell you something. I slept with almost 100 women by the time I was 18 years old. But when I say that now, this is what I understand. That it happened because of the seed that was planted. The seed happened at my mama's house by my family member. After that, guess what I'm doing? I'm chasing this feeling. I'm chasing this feeling that was given to me when I was just a child. So after that, guess what? Like I told you, my mama dating the biggest dope boy in the city. You know what happens, don't you? You ever heard of product of environment? That's exactly what happened. My brother ended up selling dope. Guess where he went? He went to juvie. My brother get out, guess what? Turned into one of the biggest dope boys in the city. Guess who turned him on? My daddy, who got 2 life sentences. My daddy the one gave me and my brother our plugs. We driving all the way to Nashville, 16, 17 years old. I'm picking up a quarter pack. I'm picking up a quarter that quarter bird. You don't know what that is? They let me know you ain't never been in the street. If you ain't never been in the street, listen to my advice. You never get in the street. 16, 17 years old, no license, listen to me, no car insurance, none of that. I'm driving a car. Listen, man. The life that I live was so crazy and so hectic. I don't have no problem talking about it. But now when I look back at it, it just seems so crazy, especially to be in the position that I am now. Cause I lived it. Listen, I shot people, robbed people. I mean, you name it. I done everything these folks talk about in the music except drugs. I had never been high. I had never been drunk a day in my life when I was out there in them streets. Never. I wasn't popping pills and doing coke or smoking weed. I was sober. Everything you read in this book, I was completely sober. You'll never see nothing in here that has nothing to do with drugs, and it's not because I didn't put it in there. It's because it wasn't a part of it. I sold drugs, never done them. I end up, first time I got locked up, I want to say 14, 15 years old. I got locked up for aggravated burglary. We broke in the house, stole $1,500, went to the mall, had a great old time, right? I got locked up, I did 5 months, 5 days. I got out, stayed out a couple of months. I went back in. Second time I went in for stealing cars. That time, I did 10 months. I need you to pay attention to the timeline. I did 10 months. I get back out. I stay out a couple of months. I go back in for attempted murder. Shot a man 3 times with an AK-47. I get out that time. I stay out a few months. I get charged, special aggravated robbery, special aggravated kidnapping, first degree premeditated murder, 3 counts of felony murder. I'm on my way to prison. 10-year sentence. Check this out. In this book, when I say I got locked up at 14, 15 years old, right? Had my child 14, 15 years old. I did 5 months, 5 days. Listen to the timeline. 14, 15 years old, 5 months, 5 days, get out. I'm 16. I go back in, do 10 months, get back out, 17, catch the attempted murder charge. I was 17. I hired my lawyer because he was going to turn me in January the 5th. He was going to turn me in on January 5th. I turned 18 on the run. I catch the case November 16, 2005. November 16, 2005. I'm 17 years old. I turned 18 December 2nd. I'm on the run for the attempted murder because I escaped out of jail. By the time they catch me January 5th, I'm 18. So they catch me. I have a juvenile case pending for the attempted murder. They catch me for stealing the car when I was 18, which allowed me to go to jail. So they bound the attempted murder case over, charged me as an adult, right? In that timeline, in my teenage years, I probably was on the street 18 months. So when you read all of this, it's going to seem like so much was going on. All of this happened until I went to prison in a period of 18 months. When you talk about living a crazy life, all the robberies is in there, all the shooting is in there, all the women moving out my mama's house when I was 17, living with a woman that was 25, sleeping with the cougars, all of that happened in a period. So when people read this and say, man, you had a crazy life, man, you will read this and think this happened within a 10-year period span. Eric, this happened within 18 months. Like, you talking about crazy? Like, it's mind-blowing to me. But let me tell you something. I get to prison. Me, my brother, and my dad at the same prison. My dad get in trouble, get moved to another prison. Me and my brother get to fighting. I almost took him out in the cell. He go home. I get moved to the prison where my dad at. Me and my daddy sellers for the period of time we were sellers. I get engaged to a correctional officer. Get moved to another prison. Guess who there? My uncle. My daddy's brother, 75-year sentence. My daddy got 2 life. I got a 10-year sentence. My uncle got 75. My uncle changed his life, though. Gave his life to Christ. Yeshua, who we know as Jesus the Christ. Now, I ain't engaged. So, at that point, I'm really ready. I'm tired. I'm tired at this point. I'm tapped out. I done been affiliated. I done lived the prison life. I done sold drugs in prison. I done slept with a correctional officer in prison. Like I've lived the street life. I lived the prison life. And just by the grace of the Most High, I hadn't been close to had a near-death experience. None of that. You see that? Them cuts right there. Like, but that was on my own because other stuff that I had going on. I done escaped out of jail 6-7 times. And I just done did so much. At this point, I got one child, my daughter, 20 years old. At this point, you have to ask yourself, you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, how in the world and why am I here? It's too many of us who know for a fact the life that we've lived would drive most people crazy. Like, I was taking 23 psychotropic meds a day at one point, playing crazy on that case. When I escaped out of the jail and them folks took me, I was in prison before I was supposed to be in prison. I'm in here telling these folks, I'm hearing voices and seeing stuff, these folks giving me psychotropic meds for almost 2 years. You hear me? I'm sitting on 23-1. I'm sitting in the cell 23 hours a day. I'm getting out 1 hour a day. Listen, you talking about going through hell and back. And then on top of that, I go down here, I'm in the cell with my brother. I go down, I'm in the cell with my dad. I leave there, I go to a prison with my uncle. And then I stay down there with him a year. And then they send me to the worst prison in the state, Northeast. They call it the Thunderdome. I do my last year there. Then folks put me out 3 times at parole. I'm just thinking I'm finna get it. The first time I go up, they put me out 3 years. Second time I go up, they put me out 2 years. Third time I go up, they tell me to do the remainder of the balance. So I'm sitting in here, and at this point, I'm saying to myself, what am I gonna do? I'm sitting in the cell. Hold on. I don't even know where it's at. Should have been in here. I'm sitting in this cell, and I'm asking myself, like, okay, at this point, what's the purpose at this point? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I did talk to the Most High. I got saved in 2010. Caught the ghost in 2010. Even after catching the ghost, I've had plenty of moments of where it just didn't make sense to me. And I ain't talking about reading the word. I'm saying going through all the traumatic experiences and then finally coming to a place of where you humble to the point of where you have to come down and you have to ask these questions. You have to ask why? Because I never asked to be here. I didn't ask to be on this earth to come out here and live a life of pure D hell. Who none of us did. So at the point of when you saying, but I didn't ask for this. You know, I played the hand that was dealt to me. And so even in that, you're trying to comprehend the mind of the Creator. You're trying to comprehend as a human the love of the Creator. Because just like most people say when they try to question the Most High, the number one thing most people go to is, if there is a God, why would he let babies get sick and pass? Why would he let this and why would he let that? Most people go through this regardless of anything. So at this point, I'm sitting in a cell on my knees, probably never really in my life prayed the prayers that I'm praying now because I'm facing life in prison. Why in the world would I even want to? Because I'm going to be honest with you. He allows me to be, because I know my relationship with the King. Why would I want to believe, trust, talk to the Most High, who in my mind is, you allow me to get molested. You allow me to come through the womb of a woman who chose to be with the biggest drug dealer in the city, who chose to, after leave him, date a married man who could not be a father figure to me and my brother. I'm talking to the Most High, who knew, because he said he knew you before the womb. You knew that I would be in the trailer park. Listen, you knew that I would be in the trailer parks in the worst area in the city. You knew that my cousin was gonna molest me under that roof. You knew that I was gonna be infatuated with guns because I ended up getting into it with one of my homeboys and didn't know he was scared of me. So he went and stole his gun from his uncle and he was gonna shoot me. Just so happened I ended up talking him out of it and I ended up taking the gun and I fired a gun off for the first time in my life and got addicted. And then from there, I thought I was John Wick 2.0. You knew all of this though. You knew about the robberies. You knew it was gonna be this. You knew about the breaking in. You knew I was gonna go to juvie. You knew I was gonna get out of juvie, have a child, not there to see my child born. Now, not only that, you knew I was gonna get back out, steal cars, go back in, do some more time, come back out, go back in, do some more time. You knew my brother was gonna go to prison. Me and him was gonna be in cell together, be in a cell together. You knew my brother's brain was gonna start to deteriorate. Me and him was gonna get in the cell. Listen, I go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But still, at some point, your soul, listen to me, you wore down. I'm scared at this point. What I don't want to keep living this life. I don't know nothing else. I don't know nothing but drugs and kicking door. I don't know nothing else. But I'm tired. So even though my brain is questioning all this stuff, my spirit is still saying, well, what other choice do you have? You either trust it, see how it's going to go, or death or the penitentiary. One of the two. I chose life. When he say choose ye life today, I chose life. Let's see how this will go. Because at this point, when I started reading and studying the scripture, it was certain things in the scripture that I realized that was beneficial to my life. I just had to learn how to reply. I just had to learn how to apply it. I didn't know how to apply it. So once I just started practicing, what's up, mama? So once I just started practicing these things before I came to prison, I realized, it ain't that bad. Because most people believe when you come to the, especially when you come from the streets, most of us who come from the streets, we look at turning into that as being a sucker. It's nowhere in the scripture where he told me to be soft. It's nowhere in the scripture where he told me to be a pushover. It's nowhere in the scripture where he told me to be a sucker. It's nowhere in the scripture where he said that. It's nowhere in the scripture where he said you have to dumb down your masculinity and do all of this hopeful, lying, jellyback stuff that they doing up in these churches. All of that, and all of that stuff be fake. Them folks ain't got no spine. Them folks ain't got no backbone. Because if any of them had a backbone, what they'll do is they'll stand up and they'll tell their preachers that they ain't telling the truth. If any of them had a backbone, they'll stand up in their congregation and they'll ask their pastor, why you sitting in here lying? They'll sit up in there and they'll watch them folks misquote the scripture, say the things that ain't got nothing, this out of the context of the scripture, and then they'll sit in there and they'll throw their hands up and acting like that you're not worshiping the king. It's no way you're worshiping the king that stretched wide for you, was pierced in his side for you, and told you if they teaching any other doctrine than what this is right here, them folks is jelly backing up. Yeah, they want you to sit in there and be mind controlled. That's what they want. They want mind control. They want you to go in there and thinking that this inspirational hope, what's up with you? This feeling that you get is connecting you, and it's not. It's not. Your emotion has nothing to do with a connection. It just ain't what it is. So even in going through that part of it, I realized you have to relearn. You have to, that's why he said study to show thyself approved. Because if you could go to church every Sunday, if you could go to church every Sunday, and then you could go and read the scripture. And it said that he rested on a certain day. And we can show you that the Constantine them changed the day that was supposed to be the day of worship. And you'll still go to church. I ain't going to go back and forth with now one of y'all on here neither. Because this is scripture that you say you believe in. And you'll still go to church every Sunday. That ain't the scripture, bro. That ain't the scripture. But see, that's where I had to relearn. I had to relearn and get a whole lot of stuff out of my system that granny and them thought was correct. That auntie and them who spoke in these tongues that wasn't the tongue wasn't correct. All of that whoa, because you ain't said nothing that got nothing to do with the spirit. You ain't spoke not one thing of the spirit and doing none of that. And you want me to give you the proof of how I know? Nothing changed. Do you know what I mean? I done seen people who speak in tongues and then with that same tongue will talk about you. Do you know how they seen the same people who speak in these false tongues that they say they speaking in, and ain't none of them showing no fruits of the spirit. But then you can show them the scripture and you can show them, and they'll tell you they rebuking you. You don't possess the spirit. He said, men ain't gonna come in my name, and he gonna tell you, I never knew you. I never knew you. And then you could go and tell them, and I'm not finna go back and forth with nobody when I say this neither. You can go in there and tell them, Christ never called you a Christian. Why you call yourself one? Get what they gonna say? Oh, you speaking that such and such stuff. Show me in the scripture where he's speaking red, and show me where Christ himself, Yeshua, who we know as Jesus the Christ, show me. Listen, this is how programmed people are. Show me where Christ himself called you that. And I guarantee you won't find it. It's not there. And you'll stand in your pulpit with your pastor or your bishop or whoever, and them folks will say that we are Christians, and they'll make you feel like because you programmed and you weak, you don't have no spine, you're jelly bag, and you feel like if you say something that you in error. But the truth of the matter is, the word Christian, it ain't nowhere in the red. Yeah. It's in the New Testament when they was in Antioch, and they used it as a derogatory term. But who did it come from? That's all you got to ask yourself. Because the scriptures say, let every man be a lie. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. The scripture, I didn't say me. The scripture say, let every man be a lie. And the word of the Most High be the truth. It was a man who's called you a Christian. He said, let every man be a lie. Every. So how is it that you're a Christian when it was a man who called you that? What? Do what? It was a man who called you that. Go to Matthew. Go to Matthew where he seen Nathaniel. What did he say to Nathaniel? Nathaniel, an Israelite in whom there is no deceit. Study why he called him an Israelite. And then this is what you do. You go study why he came and got 12. And then see why he called them disciples. And why he called them what he called them. He never called them Christians. But you will sit up under, listen, but you will sit up under the teaching, the false doctrine. You will accept it. And everybody try to give you the proof right in your face. Guess what you will say? No. It's right here, bro. It said right here. What you arguing with me for? But so, I wasn't even trying to get in all of that. But look. But look. So, going through all of that, you know, I came to a point where it was like, man, you know, if I'm going to do it, I want to know, you know, what's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And once I started stepping into that truth, and a little bit of I ain't saying I ain't perfect by far. He said all you needed was a mustard seed. I ain't had to say everything correct, do everything correct. All I've practiced is my mustard seed. That's it. Only thing I did is be a witness when I can be a witness. Only thing I did is plant seeds where I felt I needed to plant seeds. Only thing I've done is give my little bit of obedience that he asked me for. That's it. I didn't have to know every scripture, know all the history. I didn't. Only thing I had to do was apply what he gave me. And when he said to speak, speak. When it was time to stop, stop. That's it. That's all I've had to do. And listen, I'm in an 8-episode series right now playing a bounty hunter. Still in the middle of shooting my movie. I'm in a house. All my friends are on drugs, in jail, or in prison. Most of my family, 90% of them, still living how they was living, doing the same thing they was doing before I went to prison. I'm not saying that from no prideful place. I'm saying the practice of the truth is what brought about change. The practice of the truth is what's brought forth the healing, the love, the joy, the peace, the kindness, the truth that showed me that just because you have faith doesn't mean that everything. Faith is, listen to me, faith is hard. If you go through what they call the Hall of Fame of faith, right there in Hebrews, I think it's in Hebrews 11, and you look at when he spoke to them and told them what they had to do, it sounded crazy as ever, didn't it? I got the opportunity to come to Dallas 2.5 years ago. I didn't even tell nobody I was coming. You know why? Because I'm from a small town, small-minded syndrome. And the minute I would have said, I'm finna move to Dallas, every single person would have been like, for real? Dallas? Why Dallas? It's big. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not going to talk me out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's the practice. That's a part of faith right there. Do you know how many people who are stuck in their situation and they think they got faith? You don't. You don't. Look at the disciples, and this is how you can show yourself that you struggle with your faith. The disciples was walking with the king for 3 years. And every time he done something, he had to turn around. Majority of the time, he turned around and told them, ye have little faith. He was healing people that wasn't even a part of Israel based on their faith. And they were, ye has little faith. Listen what I'm going to tell you. He was trying to get them to realize who they were. Because when you go to Deuteronomy and he said that they were going to be scattered abroad all over the world. He was trying to get them to realize that you were the 12 that was scattered all over the world who don't know who you are. And everybody else know who you are and the power that you possess. And you still have little faith. It's too many of us who don't even realize who you are. And you end up back in situations, back in predicaments, back in these circumstances because you have little faith. And then you watching all of these other people who see in you what you don't see in yourself. And get what they doing? They feeding off of that, knowing, well, I know they can have it. Shoot, and they asking for it and they getting their blessings and you still have little faith. It's great. So, you know, that was one of my things too. Like I'm super big on, it was a quote I heard years ago, man, where it said, in order to have what other people don't have, you have to be willing to do what others will not do. When I had to realize, like, these folk gonna tell me I'm a felon, I can't do it. Who you gonna tell it to? I'm the son of the king. He said the seed of the righteous shall prevail. What you mean I can't get I don't need a job. You can return that to sender. You ain't gonna tell me that. Then you tell me, man, you done been through this, you got tattoos. What that's supposed to mean? I am the seed of the righteous. Did you not go through and look at what Abraham, anytime them folks went into captivity, I've been into captivity several times. I was in captivity when I was in juvenile. I was in captivity when I was in jail. I was in captivity when I was in prison. Get what? I was in captivity in my neighborhood because of the strategic wickedness that was already going on. But I'm gonna tell you something. Every time I realized that I was in captivity and I wanted to come out of it, he blessed me just like he did them in the word. Go and look at every time they were disobedient and he chastised them and put them in captivity. When they came out, go look and see what they had. I've watched it every single time be just like it was in the scripture. So this time I come out of prison and this was the difference. The difference this time was the surrenderance. See, it's different when I understand. Because they knew he had brought them out. It was they didn't surrender. They wanted to go back to Egypt. They didn't surrender. They just was like, okay, let's see where it's gonna go. The difference this time when I came home from prison was I surrendered. I didn't say perfect. I didn't say know everything. I didn't say do everything right. It was a hey, I'm with you. What you need me to do when you need me to do it, and hey, before I go too far, I'm on. If I feel that nudge, I'm not gonna jump out the roof. It was a surrenderance. This the longest I've ever been home. If you read the book, you will see I was in and out of juvenile jail and prison all my life. I've been home 6, going on 7, and listen to me, life is good. Life is good. And I ain't saying that on the basis of tangible things. This right here, it's supposed to, the enemy been trying to take this because without this right here, I can't do what I do. So he could take everything in the house. I say it all the time. He could take the house. He could take everything. He could take the car. This, and this, I'll bring it all back. If he could get this, he can stop everything else. The tangible things, that come and go. They can come and go. Because I done been through too much. I done been through too much. For me to sit and be like, okay, I see you, Most High. It was the surrenderance. It was the, we're going to do this. I might go days without praying sometimes because life is different. And that ain't no excuse. And I can confess that. That ain't no excuse. You know what I'm saying? When I was in that cell, at one point, I was so hungry, I was praying every day. And it wasn't just at night. Because there's too many of us who thinking because you prayed at night and in the morning, you done something. You know, you have to be you have to just be in constant converse with the King just throughout the day. At one point, it was like that. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, sometimes life be life, and you get up, and before you know it, you done 8, 9 things, and you ain't talked to him yet. You done drove halfway to where you got to go, and you ain't talked to him yet. You done ate your food, you ain't talked to him yet. You done sit down, had a good conversation, you ain't talked to him yet. You done made it back home, you ain't talked to him yet. Then you get a phone call, and something went left, and then all of a sudden you're on your knees. And you know, sometimes it shouldn't have to take all that to, you know, when it's time to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. You know, I'm appreciative. I'm always in a thankful headspace. I'm always in that. You know, I see you. It's no way for me not to. Me, I'm only gonna speak for me. You know your personal encounter, you know your personal experience, you know. And some of us just, really all of us know it's just impossible not to see him. It's impossible not to acknowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what's up. You know what's up. So I look around, I just like, man, this is crazy. Like this is amazing. This is amazing. So that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say, man. I'm done. I'm finna go in here and lay down. And I'm gonna say that. Yeah, my Cash App is okay, so boom 1. And you took anything from that, man, you can Cash App me $1. If not, if you ain't got the book, just hit that link on there and support the kid. Hit that link, go support it, get the book, JTB3.0, or you can give me an okay, so boom post and say, TikTok made me do it. What's up, Big J? Ain't nothing but love, man. I appreciate y'all for sitting on here rocking with me for a little minute, man. I'm finna lay down. We filming tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? I think I got a fight scene. They think they gonna do a stunt double. Listen to me. We ain't doing no stunt doubles. I'm gonna do it myself. My book is, it's on, what's up, my guy? You can click the link on here. It's called The Life of Boo Baker. You can click the link right here on TikTok. It'll take you straight to it. You can order it straight off TikTok. You can go to my page and get it. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on YouTube in the morning. But I got another story that I already put. I'm gonna put on YouTube in the morning. I'll probably put this on there tomorrow night. But my YouTube is Joe Baker. Y'all be blessed.